saying thanks again to Lynn and all of the people within Motion. I can't do justice to the award, obviously, that you just received, but I think I can speak for all the charities when I say that this is so much more than just an event. It really is a celebration of all the wonderful things that are happening in our community. I know for Insulin Dependence, being a part of this event has been completely transformational. It was just 3 years ago that we were a group of 3 rogue diabetic athletes sharing couch space and cotton t-shirts over the course of the weekend. We also shared a common vision for the world of diabetes that's kept us together over the years. I'm delighted to say that each of these 3 runners is returning for their 4th consecutive year, this year with more than 80 teammates, working together to raise money in support of Insulin Dependence's youth outreach programs. Of course, none of this would have been possible without Lynn and her team, and had they not invited us on to be an official charity in 2009, welcomed us on board as part of the family, and nurtured us along the way as a young organization coming into its own. I'm also pleased to be able to share this moment with people who are leading what we call the Insulin Dependence Revolution. We have a national board of directors who meet several times a year in different parts of the country, and many of them are here tonight. It's a pleasure to have them, and as well as a group of volunteers who's been planning for this weekend since last July. When Lynn told me I'd been nominated to receive this award, I was quick to remind her that this had been my first year where I wasn't running. I'm going to volunteer this year. She assured me that it was okay. I wasn't racing, so I went home to read more about the Spirit of Joshua Award on the Marathon website. It said his award is presented annually to someone who's overcome great obstacles to get to the marathon. I couldn't be more honored to have this opportunity to share with you all what the Spirit of Joshua Award means, not just to me and to my life's work, but to everybody in this room. Insulin Dependence was founded in 2005 and continues to operate today on a philosophy we call experiential diabetes education. In practice, that means bringing together groups of people who share a common challenge and providing opportunities that challenge them further so they might reach their individual capacities as athletes, as people with diabetes, and as human beings. I just had the pleasure of meeting the Birnbaum family a couple of hours ago before tonight. I'd heard their story a few times before having been here. But it wasn't until just a couple of hours ago that I realized why tonight really is a celebration. This is a family that's completely and utterly unwilling to let adversity stand in the way of finish lines, symbolic or otherwise. As I reflect on their story, I see a lot of commonalities between Insulin Dependence and the Spirit of Joshua. In Joshua, we have an unyielding and selfless commitment to help others reach their capacities as human beings. In Joshua, we have a young man navigating the world as a young professional, embracing the trials and tribulations of marathon training so that he can know what it feels like to see the world from the other side of a marathon finish line. A person might argue that Joshua never had the opportunity to reach his individual capacity, but I would contest that, because the Spirit of Joshua transcended the greatest challenge of all, the challenge that we all ultimately face, so that we may carry the Spirit with us as we lace up our shoes this weekend and in this great race we call life. I'm often asked what my next race will be. I joke that email is my new endurance event, which is sadly probably the truth. And people are curious about what a person who's completed an Ironman, for example, would want to do next. And the real answer is that I just want to surf. I tell you this at the expense of being stereotyped as another beach bum, lingering about the fringes of society. I was born and raised in small-town Minnesota, a place where dipping your feet in the ocean seems about as realistic as landing on the moon. I can actually recall studying a map of the world where those medieval-looking sea monsters were popping out of the map in the different oceans. When I moved to the coast at age 28, I carried those monsters with me. I'm one of those people in the water who's convinced that every little bit of seaweed is going to jump out and bite me. In the spring of 2008, I was scheduled to do a group swim at Solana Beach with the Triathlon Club here in San Diego. 9 people made it into the water that morning, and 8 came back alive. This was the morning that Dave Martin was attacked and killed by a great white shark. I was still in bed, having slept through 3 alarm clocks. 24 hours later, Dave's son was in the water at this very same reef where his father had lost his life. According to a Sports Illustrated article, as he knelt in the sand, the ocean spoke to him. he could hear his father's low, soothing voice, which made him break down and weep, and he spoke back. I'm coming in. I'm coming in the water to see you. The shark's not going to win. Although I wasn't there to witness the tragedy at Solana Beach, the experience has stayed with me over the years, and to this day I'm terrified of sharks. But in the spirit of David and in the spirit of Joshua, I'm compelled to face my fears and get back in the water, because I understand that life isn't about finish lines, but the challenges we encounter along the way, and how these challenges enrich our lives. Unless we have a place where we feel comfortable, we're never to grow as individuals, as communities, or as a human race. I'd like to leave you with a quote, a bit of ancient wisdom that I heard earlier this week. It said, "The world around us is a mirror of beliefs that we harbor within." Each and every one of us has a different field of vision that's projected from our own internal value system. The strength of these visions may ultimately determine whether or not we reach our finish lines. But really, that's not the point. What matters is with how much grace these visions guide. What matters is with how much grace these visions guide us through the process of life, and how much impact this has on the people who share our world. We all carry within us the spirit of Joshua, and tonight we celebrate. Thank you.